So I thought I'd do a little video sat on the floor. This is the little display that I take to shows with me. And when people come over talking about artwork and such like, I can proper big up the wool products and tell them all about them and how different wool has different qualities and different attributes. So, as a general rule, the higher up your sheep, the lower quality the wool for me to use, but it's better for the sheep. So, your Herdwicks and Swaledale, I don't know if I've got any swale in there. I do behind me though. If you have a look, can you see how thick, and can you see all them little wiry bits in it as well? That's the bit that I don't like with it. When I'm carding it, all these wiry bits, they fly out everywhere. You feel like you need to use a mask when you're processing it. And don't get me wrong, there are some really, really cute Herdwick products on the market and they look lovely. But for me personally, it ends up everywhere, and if you could take those bits out and just use the grey, fab. But those bits, they put me off. This is a Manx, and it is so greasy. Like, I can't even tell you what that feels. Well, you can see it's stuck together. Look at it. Like, it's really like, that is matted with lanolin. Great for the sheep. It's insulation after all. It is not. Look at it. It's amazing. Completely, once it's washed, it takes a lot to wash this, but once it's washed, it's really great because it's got a really short staple for me. So when I'm pushing it in, I don't have a long trail of wool behind me. This Shetland is, look how thick it is. That's how it sits on the sheep, like that. So there is no weather getting through there at all. That has had nothing done to it. That's what it's come like off the sheep. So you can see how well insulated these animals need to be. And it's really, really tiny, tiny little curls all matting it together. It's amazing, really, but it keeps them warm. And then you'll get lower on down. So we'll go for a blue-faced Leicester. Amazing wool. But literally, it sits on the sheep like that. And any amount of weather can get through that, can't it? Like, it's a lowland sheep. It is not for going up on a mountain somewhere. But really nice, fine, nice wool. Really, really bonny. It's got a really nice kink in it, and it's a beautiful white colour. It doesn't take a lot. You could use this without even, well, I do wash it, but you can use it without washing it. It dyes amazingly well. It's short enough for me that I don't have that long trail of wool when I'm felting with it. As I push it, if I push a bit of this through, it tends to, the majority of it goes through, whereas if I'm using something like Valais Black Nose or Teeswater or Wensleydale, they're so long that I end up with a big trail of wool, and then I end up having to have the scissors out and just cut it off all the time, which is wasteful. So this is Hobbycraft. I don't even know if it's wool. Might be, might not be. Definitely not British. So look how that is chemically dyed and straightened. Look at that. It is perfect. Personally for me, it has no personality whatsoever. It does not add anything to the picture that I'm using. I used to use, a couple of years ago, I used to use Hobbycraft White because it was whiter than anything I could get. And now I felt it with a Suffolk, and then I will go over it with a white paint pen to make it white. I don't buy anything anymore. It just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? It's so no. Some people might like it, but hey. This is a Zwarble. These are my friend Sam's. Hello. This is, so the colour gradient, can you see the change? This is the end of it that is on the body, and this is the end of it that sticks up in the sun, and look how the sun's bleached it. Isn't it amazing? And this is great stuff. I use this as my my black, and then for something like shadows, obviously you're going to need different shades of black, so I use that end as like the first shade of black that I use, and then I'll use something a little bit darker, and then at the end of it all I just use a Sharpie. It's not that exciting. There's no great secret to it. I literally go over it with a Sharpie and it blackens anything that I wouldn't want to be really black. And then I have, for extra black, I have the Blackest Black 3.0 from Culture Hustle. It's like the blackest paint in the world, bar, you know, Bean Boys paint, if you get that. So, this is Gotland. Look how amazing this is. They're like little goats to me. I would love one. I'm going to petition for one of these because they're great. So this dyes any amount of colour, and when you straighten it, it looks like dog fur. Perfect for me. And it isn't that block colour because it has that grey. You can't see it. Where is it? There. It has that lovely grey tinge to it. So it's like whitey kind of grey. So it's not got that perfect block colour, which you don't want because nothing looks realistic when it's just one colour. So this is, we'll do a bit of a comparison between the three. This is Valet Black Nose. Now, if you've ever had a hold of this yourself and you're into wool, it is not quite as fine as what you think it is. It's quite a coarse wool. You wouldn't suspect it at all. So, we'll compare it to Wensleydale and Teeswater. So if I get one of each, Teeswater is extra long, let me see, but it's sort of held together in a different way. It's very, very lanolin-y, so when it comes, it is literally saturated in the stuff and it takes a lot of washing, but really long and beautiful. This is, I don't even want to pull it off because it's so good looking, but I will for the purpose of the video. This here is Wensleydale. Isn't that lush? Now, people going on about wanting these Valet Black Nose sheep for the wool, I would prefer a Teeswater, a Wensleydale, because there's the three together. These two are pretty much identical, but this is softer, a lot softer. I don't know if you can see the difference in the fibres, how these are so much thinner. And these again, they have because they're off mountains, so they're gonna. These have the little wiry bits that the Herdwicks have in, and you wouldn't think that they did because they look so soft and nice. And these are very, very greasy, but very nice. So for me, when I'm felting personally, I haven't got one. I have got one. Hold on. I'll show you what I mean. So, I'll move that. If I'm pushing, sorry for the dirty pad. If I'm pushing this, and this into a background, and I push that bit in there, all these bits are going to be left trailing around, and you don't really know what to do with them, and then you end up with, you know, links to everything. So for me personally, yeah, it is good wool, and it's really exciting stuff, but for what I do, I prefer something with quite a short staple, not too short that you poke it in and it's stuck out like a little, you know, Mohican, but short enough that it isn't going to leave trails of wool everywhere. But these three are a great comparison because they are so similar but so different. That one's my favourite by far. So, where are we at now? What else can we show you? Blueface Leicester, Ballet Lamb, Suffolk. This is pretty much a bog standard, unwashed, nice. You see the crimp in it, it's small enough. This is just what I want. It's white, it dyes easily, it's frizzy enough that it's not going to leave straight things everywhere. You can make it into anything you want. I love it. This stuff's great. Look at that. Can you see the way it bounces back? Plastic doesn't do that, does it? So yeah, I just thought I'd give you a little bit of an insight into different types of wool. This is Oxford Down, my friend Helen's. Saying hi to everyone today. This is a nice wool. I like this one. Look. Isn't it pretty? And it dyes really well, which is great for me because I've got 2 wool bags full. Thanks. great stuff. That's a good length. I like that. Whereas compared to some of this stuff, which is just, there's a big difference. It's huge there. It's a better comparison. So yeah, I thought I'd just do a little video, show you different sorts of wool that I use and how they're different from each other and what qualities they have for the sheep and for me, because at the end of the day the wool isn't actually made for us, it's made for the sheep to keep them warm and protect them from the weather, hence why the higher up the sheep in general, the worse for us but the better for the sheep. So yeah, have a good day.